Oh God! I was very surprised. Oh, I could never have done this. Never did it. We're good?
I think this one is probably better. I don't know. They're both good.
Is that on?
Hello, we're just about to start, finally. How is everyone? Good! Woo! Whose first time is it at the Co-Founder meetup? Oh, quite a bunch of people. How did you guys find out about this? That guy? Just that guy? We have to pay you now?
I'll take it.
Sweet.
Austin Startup Events Calendar.
Okay, perfect. That's a good way to do it. Awesome. So the TechMap Co-Founder meetup has been going on for quite a while. It's become a staple of the Austin startup scene where people come to find co-founders, maybe find a job or look for developers, or just actually just get some feedback on their pitches. So a lot of people here are here for different reasons. So welcome, and we're going to start. Once I figure this piece of technology out. There you go. So this is my first time organizing and running the whole event. The founders, Johan and Veronica, are in Mexico, and so I think they're seeing this right now on live stream. We're having a great time, and so Lydia and Irtaza over there are helping set this up. And I am, of course, sorry, I should probably introduce myself. My name is Moby. I'm the pitch coach for this event. I started that in January. And what I wanted to do was help people with their pitches because I've seen a lot at 3 Day Startup, at incubators in Austin, and then in Pakistan where I go a lot, and I just want to help people get their story right. And now I'm hosting it. Not getting paid for it. Oh, I'm kidding. So, what's going on today? If you guys haven't been there before, it's a little bit of drinking, talking with people, getting some free food, and understanding, hey, who's here for what? How can I help? Because you didn't come here to just, have a great time, which it is, but also to meet a specific kind of individual or ask for a specific kind of help. And we're going to do that. Mix and Mingle, which just ended. Then a keynote by Thomas right here. And then we're going to do pitches. Usually we have 4 to 5 pitches. This time we have 2. And at the end of it, I'm going to improvise and get some of you guys on the stage for like 30 seconds or 60 seconds to talk about, hey, I'm looking for a job, or hey, I have this idea and I want to pitch next time, but I have 30 seconds, so I'll talk about that. And then more mixing and mingling. please finish the beer, otherwise I'm going to take it home, and which is it's too much. So I still can't figure this out, and I'm going to have to kick all of you wonderful people out at 9 because that is Capital Factory policy. But if you meet someone that you want to keep talking to, there's a bar right downstairs, and a bunch of people actually just kind of go to a bar close by to talk. Surprise, people in Austin drink and network. And who's new to Austin? You're here for you got here 2 weeks ago. Wow.
Yeah.
Welcome to Austin, big drinking city. So if you look around and look at name tags, you'll see that everyone has a color. And as mentioned before, you're looking for someone specific. So just keep an eye out for who you're looking for. If you're looking for someone in media, an entrepreneur that you want to work for, if you want to have a summer internship, which some of my friends do, or if you're looking to hire a developer or a UI person. So the Tech Map is a way for you to connect with your local tech tribe in Austin. They sponsor this event, Johan started it, and they host this event every month. So instead of paying a large amount at the door, if you want to keep coming, keep pitching, and keep meeting people for your project, you can just pay for a verified membership. So many perks. I can't go through all of them, but they're really cool. And plus, food every single time. So before we start, we're gonna kind of talk about our sponsors, people who helped us set this up and get them on stage. The first is Capital Factory, the place that we are in right now. They have this floor, the 5th floor, and they have 2 spaces on the 1st floor. So they're kind of like a staple of the Austin startup scene, and they're called the center of gravity for Austin startups. A lot of money goes through here. A lot of people that I know go through here. Either they are in the Accelerator program or are co-working over here. So it's a big place for startups. Is it anyone's first time in Capital Factory? Yes. Woo! Yeah, welcome to Capital Factory. Woo! Cool. They have a lot of events. The startup crawl in October and March are huge too. So next, I'm just gonna call people out. For Chris from Golden Arm Media, is going to quickly talk about Golden Arm Media. Woo!
All right. Well, thank you. All right. I'm Chris with Golden Arm Media. We'll be doing the video out here tonight. So over here, right, if you guys are doing pitch decks, there's another screen there, by the way, where all your slides are. So you don't have to keep looking back and doing one of these numbers. No, I do it all the time. So yeah, we create compelling marketing content for brands we really like to work with. And you know, I just bumped into my buddy Joe here, and he's like, man, you guys are everywhere. Because we were just at Internet Marketing Party, and we did Freedom Fastlane Live, and we were at Small Business Festival, and we do all these different events that are entrepreneur focused. So the truth is we're not everywhere, of course, and that's the point of marketing in today's age, is to have the appearance of being ubiquitous to your potential client or your consumer. I mean, it's cheaper than ever and it's easier than ever to really target that audience with a scalpel, as opposed to the old days where it was a traditional radio and television. So anyhow, if you'd like to talk about marketing, I'd love to crack open a cold one with you guys at the end of this and just see where you're at and where you want to go. So all right, hope you guys enjoy tonight.
Thanks, Chris.
So TCRE, I believe, is Johan's company. He's not here, and so is Euroway. Actually, he has a lot of different companies. Anyone from Telefy or Dujo Promo here right now? Well, I won't say a lot about them because I don't know enough. But Austin Fire Show is my thing. It's a podcast. I interview entrepreneurs, creators, and interesting people around town, like the designer of Austin's airport, on creativity and how they built the airport and where Austin is going. Texas Woman Entrepreneur of the Year, about the path through entrepreneurship, which Thomas is going to talk about too. And then strategic things like how to do a B2B sales strategy, how to come up with a marketing strategy, how to pitch your idea, which is a big part of this. So do check it out, Austin Fire Show. And so quick, again, the format, keynote speaker Thomas is going to come up, and talk for 20 minutes, give us a great talk. We're going to have a 5-minute Q&A session. Then we're going to do pitches, 5 minutes each. I am going to cut you off in 5 minutes, just so you get some practice, and it's just easier that way for everyone. And 4 minutes Q&A, and you will be cut off. So if you are looking to pitch, this is a great way to pitch. If you're afraid, who here is afraid of public speaking? I was just telling my friend over there, I used to be too. I still am, but it was so bad that a lot of my opportunities that came my way, I said no to. So I took 9 months of improv, lots of Toastmasters. I was at Toastmasters last week, and just did these small things over time. So if you're nervous, it's practice. There's no one in the world who can say, I can never do public speaking. So one way to pitch your idea is this format that I talk about in my episode 18 too. If you want to ever pitch, let me know. We can chat before or after your pitch so we can figure out what you're doing for who and get you in front of the stage, because there's a chance you might suck, but that's okay. But that's okay. And sometimes you just suck at stuff. I think a good way to show how you suck at stuff sometimes would be, you've seen this right now on my arm, and my nose is a little, so it couldn't be more embarrassing than this.
I think you better move that in a little bit. You're hanging over the edge.
Ooh. I can't lose my expensive laptop, right? So you might suck at a lot of stuff. Like I went to the social ride on Thursday, the first time. So sometimes you do suck at stuff, and it's okay. Failing isn't that bad. I'm still proud I did it. It still hurts, and I can't wear my tight pants, but still. If you want to pitch, let me know. You will get better at it, and it just takes a while to get that training and practicing. So, of course, you guys know how to network. At the end of it, just if you meet someone, who are you? What are you looking for? Who do you want to work with? Or what are you good at? Because you always want to provide some kind of value. You already have a pitch ready, so I'm not going to talk about this. After this, please pick up your trash. Capital Factory gives us this space, and they're wonderful. I want to keep this clean. And at 9, we'll just go to the bar and keep networking. And did you park in the garage, anyone? So you can get it validated. You don't have to pay $20. You can pay $5.
How long are they available
What?
to get it validated?
24 hours, I think. Definitely by the time we're here.
Okay.
Yeah. And we're having ZPEG and Paradigm, I spelled that wrong, automation pitch today. But before, we're going to have Thomas speak. And before that, do you have any suggestions for this meetup? If you've come here before, let me know how to make this much more fun or interactive. Or at the end of this, let me know how to do that. Because, I mean, it's great that I get to talk here, but if you're not enjoying it, or you're not getting what you've come here for, there's no point. So do come find me. And I'm gonna ask Thomas Gabriele to come. He's a Capital Factory mentor. He just started another company.
HomeWise.
No, right now? How?
Well, we're incorporating this week.
Wonderful.
So,
And he's been an entrepreneur, and he's followed the route for a long time. So everyone, Thomas, thank you.
do I need to use this if I can speak loud enough for people to hear me?
Shh. Your call. If they can hear you.
I'm not sure if you need it for the.
It would be best for video.
Would it be best for video for me to use it? Okay, then I'll use the speaker. So I know I was given 20 minutes with 5 minutes Q&A. I don't need to take the full 20 minutes, so if it's better for you to ask more questions, then I'll make sure I kind of cut my speech short. So as Moby was nice enough to stay, I've been in Austin actually for about 2 years. Moved out here from Southern California specifically for the startup scene. I've spent most of my career either, actually about 50-50 of my time since I graduated from business school, working in sort of the corporate world and taking my launches into the entrepreneurial startup space. how many of you folks are actually working at a startup or are looking to found a startup now? And anybody still working the corporate life here? Okay, not too many folks, but a few. So I'd spent my time right out of school working at Experian Interactive, where we acquired a lot of the startup lead gen businesses inside of the internet. So lowered my bills, it's one you might be familiar with. PriceGrabber was an old comparison shopping site, still around, and a few other smaller lead gen players. We spent about $1 billion buying these companies, and it was really exciting to me coming out and seeing how people could kind of make money in digital media. But the one thing about a corporate strategy job or corporate development job is once you spend the company's money, you kind of run yourself out of a job. So we spent all this money, and then the mortgage meltdown occurred in 2007, so I shuffled my way over to MySpace, which was another great landing spot. But it was actually really, really interesting. So I went over to News Corp. They had just acquired MySpace, and we're again working on sort of digital ad technology company, Strategic Data Corp. And the goal was, instead of just media buying, how do we move into media selling and capturing the intrinsic value of our inventory on the web. Again, really interesting, an interesting ride there for the 3 years I was there. But in 2010 was really like, you know what, I've done the corporate job. It's great to get a nice bonus and kind of have a nice life, but you do know that I had to lay off 1,000 people at MySpace. And I was basically looking at a spreadsheet just praying that they did not have families. It was not fun. There was not a lot of rhyme or reason other than we were told a month beforehand you need to come up with 1,000 layoffs. So frustrated with that whole experience, I said, you know what, this is great. I can go find another place to land at Fox, but I have more of an independent thought streak in myself, so I decided to kind of move out to the startup world. And that was really the genesis. It was, corporate life can be great, but I want to be a master of my own domain. I want to work on problems that I'm passionate about, not other people's problems and making them wealthy. So that's kind of the quick backstory, and that's where I kind of moved into working at companies like WowYow, which I helped co-found. It's in the video ad tech space, very interesting, but have not gained the traction that we've liked. So this is an example where we think it's a really interesting idea and compelling, because what we do is take video content and make the objects inside the video actually clickable. So if you're watching any kind of television program on any digital device, you little hover your mouse in, it gives the user total control of the video and the advertising they're consuming, which is something ad blockers love. In fact, I was asked to be on the Ad Blocker Plus committee about approved ads. It's what we think is a really compelling solution. And guess what? Publishers we've been trying to knock down every door have not yet adopted the technology to put it on their site. We see amazing engagement rates for consumers and sounds good, but just hasn't happened. So it may sound like a great idea, or it may seem like an awesome thing, but it just may not be successful for a whole host of reasons. So that's not to get discouraged, but I'm not going to be the one standing here telling you, yes, I've sold my business for $50 million, and here's the copy-paste version of how you get there. I can honestly tell you from my experience that I don't think there is one right way. I think you're all going to find out the path you need to take by just staying focused on a few central themes around solving a problem, making sure you understand who your key stakeholders are, and then passionately believing in it. And those are kind of a must. So recently, I'll talk quickly about HomeWays. So it's a real estate technology solution. We feel home buyers are essentially ignored in the home buying process. If you think about what's happened historically, in the 80s and 90s, real estate agents controlled all the data about which homes were available to sell and what you could go see. So the intrinsic value rested within the agent, and you were probably not allowed to see a whole lot of properties other than what they may have known from their local MLS. Zillow came in, changed the space, and said, nope, that data should be available to everybody, and that's great. We think that home buyers should have components of the process. But now you're kind of stuck. So you see all this information on Zillow, then what? What do you do next? And so our solution is really picking up the ball where that discovery component ends and helping a home buyer not just connect with an agent, but find a trusted advisor who's going to walk them through the process and actually help them make the right deal. Because we believe that agents are still valuable, but they're more valuable within negotiations, helping you mitigate all the risks in actually buying a home and going through the process. There's a lot more than just unlocking a door and opening that. And so we're building a technology stack that we believe is going to actually support giving a home buyer more control about being able to see the homes that they want to see, and actually creating a nice solution that actually builds a bond between the agent and the home buyer. I won't spend any more time on that, but yes, we are looking for actually a full stack tech developer to join the organization. So if anyone here is that happy to talk to them. So in general, my path has been, find problems. I'm generally intellectually curious. I like to kind of figure out how things work, and just want to solve problems and get in there and have a lot of fun kind of working with people and getting to that end. And that's been, while again, I'm still in the process of getting businesses off the ground and haven't had massive exits, that's what keeps me going and keeps me charged. I've been at it for about 6 or 7 years, but I think that Austin's a great place to be to work on that. I left California for a whole host of reasons, and I was in Orange County, which is a nice part of the state, but there's not a lot of tech. Not like there is in West LA or the Valley, but then you need to make 3 times the money just to have a house. So I have a wife and kids, and that makes it a little bit more challenging. That's a kind of summary of kind of my background and what I think, but really wanted to hear just questions from you about what information you might want to know about either my journey or what might be important to you. I don't want to just sit up here and spout kind of my history. Sure.
In your journey, when you're going through all of this, how do you keep the cash flow going while you're trying to venture into?
Yeah, so that's challenging. That's one of the reasons I sold my house in California and moved here, but even that starts to run out after a while. So fortunately, my wife, who's actually she's really creative and founder of HomeWays, because it was problems that she was facing as a real estate agent, and her experience with home buyers. So she works as a real estate agent, so that helps. And then I try to pick up consulting jobs where I can, to kind of keep things going. It's stitching the life together, and it's the gig economy, right? You have a gig here and a gig there. And I've done various gigs. I've actually spent some time with various other startups for short periods of time. In fact, my time with My Finance was about a 4 or 5 month arrangement. So that's what you do. Yeah.
Why did you choose Austin? I'm from California. Why did you choose Austin as a city to come and try?
So ironically, in about July of 2014, I reached out to Eric Huddlestone, who's the CEO of Trendkite across the street here. I just happened to see that there was a lot of investment. Really, Austin appealed to me for a couple of reasons. One, it is a technological center that's growing fast, but the cost of living here is great. I can raise a family, I can put my kids in public school and feel comfortable about that. That wasn't true in California. So coming here was a great fit for not only my family, but what was happening here. I came to the Capital Factory a little over a year ago. My first 6 or 7 months was really getting just settled in. But once I got in here, came down here, I see all the energy and enthusiasm which is going on here at Capital Factory. And it's not to say there aren't exciting things happening at Tech Ranch or Galvanize, but they're not the Capital Factory. And if you ever spend time working with businesses in those places, you'll see the difference in just the energy level. Yeah.
If you have something that you think is a great idea and then, like you said, it's not successful, so what do? Do you work on it, or do you just move on, even though you think it's a good idea?
I'm still supporting the guys that are there. So it's 2 brothers that originally kind of built the technology and have tried to sell it, and then I joined on shortly thereafter and said, hey, I've got a lot of contacts in media. We launched in 2012, it's 2017, and it's still sort of on life support. Everything is your own personal decision. I actually sold most of my stake out to the initial investor. He wanted to continue to ride it. I said, great, I got an exit. You have to think about how passionately you believe in the problem, and you have to go back and really understand, if no one is willing to pay for it, it's either not the right solution or the marketplace is just not ready for it. And I think that's something you have to constantly ask yourself. You may believe in the idea, may believe it's a pain point, but as one of the previous slides said, you got to understand the pain points of your customers. If they don't sense it's pain, or it's not a pain point that's repeatable, or something that they can really say, hey, this is going to better my life, you have to figure out what's comfortable for you and just say, I need to move on and try something else. And that's okay. I mean, I think, the great thing about where we live, right, is you can keep trying and you can just come up with a new idea and change it to a better idea. But the market is efficient over the long term. And if things just aren't clicking and customers aren't paying you for it and not signing up, yeah, you could say it's your sales team, or yes, you could say it, but in all cases, it's usually something that's just intrinsically wrong with the product. So you have to kind of figure out, is it the product isn't delivering the promise, or is the promise not good? I think is what you have to kind of think about.
What has been your experience in acquiring the funding to pay developers, and is there like a formula, or do you pay equity, or what has been your experience in that?
So it depends on what you're able to do, right? I mean, if you don't have any cash, you're gonna have to look for either a full stack developer who you can work well with. So currently I've got a designer who came on board. He's actually someone here at Capital Factory. He started a couple of startups himself, and we bonded when I first met. We've been kind of working on things and collaborating, and finally said, hey, I need your help. Great designer, great product, great marketing, understands social, is just really, really good. He's not a full stack developer though. The thoughts are, well, I can't pay you at the moment because we're still putting this together, so I'm giving him a lot of equity. But we feel pretty confident from the response we heard. We think we can raise money to go hire developers and still give them some equity, but it's like we're gonna give them more cash. If you gotta come out of pocket, well, I mean, cash has gotta be in your pocket to give it to them. So that's what you have to do. I would say continue to network and find a developer that you feel confident is gonna give you what you want. I know for myself, while I have some understanding of what a technical full stack developer needs to be or what technical capabilities they need to have, I am totally unqualified to determine if someone is better than someone else until I see their work product. So I don't even know. I couldn't even ask the right questions, and so I'm a little bit reliant upon that. So I get it, it's tough. Continue to network, continue to talk to people, find someone you can trust who can help you evaluate that person. And fortunately, I'm old enough now to where I've experienced good and bad, and I know who I would go talk to and who I wouldn't. And continue to network, because you never know who that person may know. And if you feel good about, hey, this person is a good person and they've got a good, good approach, and we're being honest and transparent with each other, then I feel like most people are willing to help. I know that's one of the reasons why I became a mentor at the Capital Factory, because it's just, how can I help? I may have people I know in California still or whatever, whether it's customers for you, potential investors, just let me know what I can do to help, and I will think of a way to pass you along if I can't directly help you. That it? Yes.
So how long did you work in the corporate area?
So I spent, so I graduated from business school in 2002. So it was a little bit of an odd time since it was just like 8 months after 9/11. So the world had corporate world had kind of gone kind of haywire. But I really spent about from 2003 to 2010, so about 7 years working the various corporate development jobs. So 3.5 years at Experian, 3.5 years roughly at News Corp. And we were looking at big partnerships. I looked at the Google search deal that MySpace had, and I can tell all the things that was wrong with that structure because I looked at it on the renegotiated, not the first deal. Same thing with just different components of ad tech and what had happened during that time frame. But like I said, it was, hey, guess what? I'm going to get a $50,000 bonus, or I might get a pink slip. And the previous year, I was the one literally striking. It was terrible. I had to literally go out there and highlight in red, okay, here are the guys you need to lay off, because I didn't know what they did, and I didn't get a chance to even talk to them. They may have had kind of compelling jobs, but it was the orders coming from the high ups. It just said, hey, we need to cut 1,000 heads. We shouldn't have hired them in the first place. Okay. So, yeah.
How did you come up with the decision of going with HomeWays? I mean, who helped you? Who did you pitch to? What did you?
So we haven't yet pitched it to anyone outside the org. So I've talked to a couple other mentors that I know here pretty well, and it's an idea that really my wife came up with, how to solve some really big pain points that she faces as an agent, as well as what she knows home buyers are kind of really digging themselves in for. So we thought about the two stakeholders, and really it's about finding your way home. So we did the traditional word mapping of all the different components of home, way, advisor, all that kind of components. Well, a lot of the names are already trademarked. In fact, we wanted to go with Home Scout, but that was already trademarked, so we couldn't go with that. Settled on HomeWays. We're reasonably happy with that, but it's pretty hard to find a name, especially these days. And in fact, it's not even a .com; it's a .co, because it's not available in .com.
I'm wondering how much of the idea have you validated with either Capital Factory or outside?
So outside on the validation from that side, so we've had probably several focus groups. So I've done a tremendous amount of research on the space in terms of trends, what's happening with buyers' habits online, what their pain points are. Obviously, having an industry insider who's done 100+ transactions in her life understands the home buying process. But then we started talking to various agents inside Austin. The big thing for us is that it's a home buyer tool that we think is going to be compelling for home buyers, because it's going to give them more control about not only finding homes, but actually getting into inside of a home. One of the big challenges is you physically can't walk into a home unless it's an open house or home builder without an agent. You cannot walk, vacant home, no way. There's always a lockbox on there, and that forces you to use an agent. And that's okay, and we want to embrace that from the perspective of, we just want the home buyer to be able to schedule it and handle all that. So we're taking that and giving that actually to the home buyer rather than forcing the agent to manage this all like an administrative assistant, which is massively time consuming and low value. That's not why an agent is valuable in our opinion. And every agent we've talked to probably 100 so far. I'm talking to more. I'm talking to people who are on various social media groups on Facebook who are key influencers. They speak at Inman, which is like the big real estate technology conference. And they're like, we need this and we need this now. Well, that's good. And oh, by the way, we put up a website and I've got 10 people to sign up. I haven't built anything yet. I just told them what I'm going to do. So that's really, really good validation that people are going to give me a credit card and put it in there, just being directed to the site, not being told anything about it. So it makes us feel pretty confident that we're on it, and they're willing to pay up to $40, $50 a month for the solution. And we're like, okay, we know we're absolutely right on the right track with that. Now obviously we have to deliver against our promise. So the promise is good. Product now needs to back that up. So we think that's going to help us raise the funding to go get the other developers that we're going to need to build it. Yeah. I'm sorry, yeah.
Aren't you worried there are big players like Zillow, Redfin, and they could easily vertically integrate into that solution?
That's always a problem, but that's not, it doesn't mean that they're going to focus on it right now because it may be small potatoes to them, right? When I was at PriceGrabber, or when we looked to acquire PriceGrabber, everyone's like, well, can't Google just do Google shopping or whatever? Eventually they probably will, but at the moment it's like they haven't, it's either not important enough for them to focus on that problem now, or they'll just wait for someone to spin up the good idea and then just acquire them and bring them in-house. You know, they're a big company, and big companies don't make decisions quickly. They need billions of components of validation. They don't really think about who their consumers are. In fact, I think the biggest problem with Zillow is, yeah, you created this great efficiency in the market by letting people see homes, but they also let people post bad data into there. So you on Zillow, you find a home that could be fraud, which my wife's validated. It's literally people scamming people for escrow money. Hey, yeah, put your money in here, make an offer, great. The home doesn't even exist, wrong address, whatever. So MLS is the true data. You know, that's where it has to go from. So that's all great, but you're really doing a disservice to your home buyers at that point. And then they try to ram you into an agent. Call us up. They try to put an agent in front of you. Look, an agent is, they're supposed to help you make the largest financial decision of your life. To turn around and just put that onto a quick phone call and say, hey, you should work with this person to help as a trusted advisor and building a bond of trust. Like 12% of people actually find an agent online. 12% of people even look for an agent online. About half of those actually find it. So it's 6%. 90% of people still say referral, previous agent, and it's different for single-time home buyers, first-time home buyers, and let's say you're second or third. You're probably going to go back to your same agent if they're still in the marketplace because you've built that bond and that comfort. You know who they are. Yeah.
So yeah, my question was that when you started anything, there's a lot of unknowns, and like in your case, you had to talk to sales agents. So is there a way to get people to talk to you openly?
Well, so it has been difficult for me. So I've been reaching out to various brokers and agents myself saying, hey, I'm Tom Gabriele, I'm the CEO of HomeWays. I've got this really interesting solution. I just want your feedback. And it honestly, I don't get a lot of people wanting to talk to me. I do know that there's a lot of events around town that home builders put on where agents come and they're trying to pitch them. Anywhere I can find, in fact, there was a Keller Williams event going on down before us. I was almost ready to bail on this and go to that. Because Keller Williams is like the largest real estate brokerage in the country. So, talking to agents there would be helpful. But just going to events, talking to people face to face, my wife is really big help because she can literally call someone up at ABOR, which is the Austin Board of Realtors, talk to influential people there. She's really good at opening up those doors and just getting people to talk to us. And it's just, hey, I'll buy you lunch, come in here. This is what we want to do. Is this valuable to you, right? The key questions are, what's your biggest problem? Okay, and they'll tell us the 50 other things. And you say, well, I've got this solution. Is that a pain point for you? So the two questions we have is, what do you think is valuable about what you do as an agent? And what do you think your home buyers think is valuable for you? If you think what's valuable is unlocking a door, then I think you're selling yourself short as an agent. And if you think your home buyers think you're valuable because you unlock a door, then you really are, we got a problem here. But I think that people, think otherwise. And there is some research that, different surveys that come out that say people find agents are valuable in negotiation. They're invaluable when it comes to managing that process, which for first-time home buyers is it's a big unknown. There's a stack of papers like this big you sign on a contract, right? Do you read them all? No. Right? And there's a lot of things like contingency periods and what do you do if your inspection is bad and where are your outs in case the house. I think there's something like 37 different ways a seller or a buyer can walk away from a home in Texas in a transaction after you've signed all the contracts. I don't know the 37 ways, but your agent should. And that's what's valuable, is being able to convince you that information. So that's where we think that's being overlooked in the marketplace. Whether it's Zillow, now they just launched their instant offers. That was really smart. Now everybody wants to go after them. Right? I think NAR just said they're going to sue them because they think they're infringing upon whatever. But that's why cut the agent out. Right? They've been around for 15 years. I've been hearing the same story since House Values in 2007. Sorry, a little personal on that one. I have a lot of passion, as you can probably tell. Any other questions? Sure.
So let's say I found a capital partner who has a lot of expertise in the industry, starting a small e-commerce business. How do you navigate around, delineating different responsibilities and goals and who does what and expectations?
Sure. When you're setting your founding team up, everyone's doing a little bit of everything, and there's going to be overlapping roles. I think if there's one clear, I think 3 is always a good number to come in with. It's a little hard with 2 because you can just have stalemates. Not that you want 2 against 1 in every situation, but knowing that there's 3 sort of distinct roles. Industry expertise is great. Somebody who can be sort of the face of the company and engage with investors, because if you're building a product, you're not talking to investors, and if you're talking to investors, it's a full-time job. Until you get money, you just really can't be singularly focused on it. You just can't do it. And that's one of the things I learned with WowYow, was that the guy who founded the company has a very strong stake in the company, and he wants to run everything and doesn't want to let his people go. And so it's him doing everything, and it slows everything down. When it comes to potential advisors or capital investors who come in, I think, again, looking about people who can either be your champion, connect you to either other investors or potential clients, always a good sign, or just somebody to help provide well-rounded general knowledge. I think those are just good things to think about, because you don't want everyone to be the same. But as we think about HomeWays, we'll probably have a council of agents that are going to sit and give us product feedback and what's going on from that side, as well as having sort of advisors and a board that's going to sit to kind of oversee the company and the progress that the product's going to make. Yes?
My question pertains to your role here as entrepreneur in residence. So when founders here, when they decide, okay, we want to take that step for funding,
Yep.
that first step, how much do you guys work with angel networks here or in other states, or like a
Yep.
feeder? Is there like
Yeah, so the way
program?
I think everyone works a little bit different. I know, I think Gordon is one of the key investors. I can't remember Gordon's last name, but Gordon is one of the key investor partners, I think, with Capital Factory. So he probably has a good connection to the folks within the Austin area. There are a handful of VCs in the area, right? There's Silverton, Live Oak, and S3. Talking to other executives is another good way to just say, like I said, talk to Eric Huddleston over at Trendkite. He used the folks, Mercury Fund out of Houston. Angels in general, though, anybody I can help out with. If it's an area that I know an investor is looking at specifically, great. When I first came out here, they said, hey, I'm hiring you as a free agent. Tell me what's going on in Austin, because we don't have a presence there. I'd love to hear about deals that are in Austin. So I know folks that are in that sort of $250,000 to $2 million capital raise. It's probably a Series A fund, and they're based out of Beverly Hills, and they've done a really good job in Southern California, kind of where the first big fund down there. They just raised $70 million to kind of make these early stage investments, all the way to other angels who are looking to write $100,000 to $250,000 checks. If I think I can help them, I'm going to let them know about it. If I feel like I understand the deal, I'm just going to share it with everybody and hopefully get it back to you. I probably work a little different than others. Some are a little bit more guarded about, okay, what's going on. I kind of check to make sure I feel confident that the deal is going to move forward, or at least that there's going to be some genuine interest. So my job is to scrub it to at least give them my pre-stamp of approval. The reason why I joined as an entrepreneur in residence was also to find other folks, or maybe a project to join. It just so happens my wife came up with this idea and everyone loved it at the moment. It may change tomorrow. But for now, so that's the project that I'm working on. But that's why I was an entrepreneur in residence. Like, hey, I found 2 other people, they need help. Let me bring this to the investors I know. Great, I can be part of the team too. Here's what I can do to help. And if not, and I invite them to the investors and it works out for them, that's great too. Anything else? Okay. We're good?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Sure, thanks.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you, Thomas, for that. Before we jump into pitches, would anyone like to take a 3-minute break?
Yes.
Yes? Cool, well, yes. We'll wait for 3 minutes, then I'm just gonna shout. And grab some food, grab some remaining beer, water, stretch your legs. Thank you so much. Yeah, that was great. Yeah, cool. That was good.
Yeah, I've never really done this, so.
It was great.
Okay,
I
good.
love the part where you got interaction in really quickly because I think that's super important.
I like the sound of my own voice. I can talk all day long, but they're here to network and meet people and hear stuff. So that was like, let me know what you want to hear about, and I'll know.
Sounds good. Yeah. I think some of them had very tactical questions.
Which is fine. Yeah, no, that's great. Look, it's my opinion. Yeah, right. It's not necessarily right or wrong. It's what I didn't necessarily say. I probably could have told you guys that. What I'm telling you is my opinion. Like, okay, this has been my experience.
Very good. Alright, now do you want some food or whatever?
No, I ate on the way. I was driving all the way down from Liberty Hill, which is about 40 miles north. So I didn't know if I was getting stuck in tons of traffic or.
You ate, yeah.
Yeah, so I ate like middle of the drive down. All of a sudden, I zipped on down here. So I was like, okay, good.
Okay, it worked out. You got some food. Wonderful.
Sorry, I didn't.
So there's two things. Someone wants to have a business, you have an idea. How much, like, if someone who has an idea doesn't have a network, what does someone go about, like, sort of, is it important, like, first to build a network and then sort of, like, push your idea, or you should just go, if you have a an idea, just go for it no matter what? Like, what is more valuable?
In terms of at what stage?
Like, okay, so, like, I mean, I'll say, if I'm a, UT grad coming out of college and I have an idea that I want to push, but I'm not sure, so I know what he really wants, like, I know what he's doing, I've learned a lot from him, but, like, again, I have to build, like, so is it more important to first build a network that you can, like, so your vision is happening, or is it just, if you're an idea, just go for it, like,
Well, it depends on what you can get done. Right, if you're super passionate about the idea, like this is something you can actually build it. There's no reason to not start. You should always because you just never know. You're gonna meet a lot of people who are. I've met a lot of people who don't trust that guy or something. After it's like dating. Date a lot because eventually you'll learn really quickly what to find. What are the kind of red flags that will start showing up? Doesn't mean get engaged every day. It just means trying to understand what you think about it. And you don't have money to offer something. So hopefully you meet some people, you guys connect, and hang out a little bit, and say, hey, I'm working on this idea. I mean, everybody's like non-disclosures and stuff. Look, I'm trusting you not to do this. This is sort of a verbal NDA. But, and if they're like, hey, that's pretty interesting. Let's start flying. Let's figure this out. And eventually you'll kind of find your way to something. Events like this are good. It's also good to just, hey, sure, shoot me a text. Sure.
I think you're going to see inspiration and you'll see some similarities between their concepts.
Okay, cool.
Hey, Dylan, you want to go first, or Raymond? Where's Raymond?
So, I mean, they're both, it depends on what you
First, or does it matter to you?
It's like,
Okay, we'll start in like a minute. So, I have a question. So I'll also have your pitch.
Nah,
Just the video, that's all you need?
2 minutes video, I'll just chat it on a minute.
I've been exposed to that.
Yeah, that'll be it.
The college students are about to get out of it, so it's sometimes a big confusing.
Perfect.
What's the right step? Like, what should I do if I might have an idea? I know I need, you can't move on this. You're going to have to
the marketing brand is that, so if he's right on part of it, I would encourage you to write on, think about what you're
All right, guys, we are ready to go again. Please take your seats, take your food, and let's do this.
I guess experience, so you know, like find the right place.
Yeah, like, do you
How would you pronounce the company name properly?
MPEG?
If you truly understand like
Feedback, cool.
trust me, you literally can like rip it off and it's super.
Sorry, did someone take your seat?
Yeah, no, I was just trying to figure out where I should sit.
Yeah. Oh, here's fine. So we have 2 pitches coming up. How it's going to work is 5 minutes each. The person goes over their structure of their idea, and then 5 minutes feedback. The majority will be, or the start will be by Thomas, and then I'll chime in about the storytelling aspects, and especially what is missing in your pitch. And we'll do this for every single pitch on this stage. And then we'll have 10 to 15 minutes. So depending on whether more people are looking to hire or look for co-founders or basically get a job or internship or equity partnership with a co-founder, we'll wing the last 15 to 20 minutes and get everyone talking among themselves. Cool? Cool. And so there's JPEG. What else is there?
MPEG?
And so now we have ZPEG by Raymond. Woo!
Clearly the best. Thank you. How are you?
I will time you and whenever you want me to press.
All right. So I'm Raymond Westwater from ZPEG. We have an algorithm that reduces, it cooperates with existing video compressors and reduces their bandwidth by about 20%, which means that transmission costs are reduced by 20%. The storage costs reduced by 20%. This is a value proposition that can amount to as much as $100 million a year for a company. So we think it's a pretty good idea, and I'd like to explain a little bit how it works. Scott, who is featured in this presentation, is right over here. Controversial image you can find. So this is the demo video we showed at NAB, and the breaking news is that we've shaken hands on a licensing deal with one of the large codec manufacturers. We're embedding our technology inside their codec, and they're taking us to market. So we're off to the races. This is year 3 here presenting at the Co-Founders Meetup. So Moby, thank you for hosting me. Johan, if you're out there, gracias in Mexico. So what we're looking for is a press push. We're looking for a web page. We're looking for a marketing effort. Chris?
Gotcha.
We want to make this the the face of young entrepreneurship in Austin. All right, thank you very much. So if there are any questions, that'd be awesome. If not, we'll just meet afterwards. All right, thank you very much. Oh, yes, sir.
So is this B2B or B2C? Are you selling it to, like, if I'm creating a video, would I have to use the software before I can, like, render an export?
Our current, actually this is a question that we want to ask, but our current partnership is B2B. We're thinking that there might be, some low-cost individual sale kind of model, in the future. Once we've kind of mined, the easy money, the low-hanging fruit.
Cool.
Yes, sir?
Would this be something you could sell to Netflix?
We hope so.
What was the question?
Netflix. We would like to sell to Netflix, of course. That would be, Netflix. I mean, there's a handful of guys that own 95% of the bandwidth, and one of those is, of course, an acquisition, host for us. Yes, sir.
I think I answered my own question by thinking back on your video. You said they can reuse a decoder, so you're not adding any overhead to the decoding device.
Well, that was at NAB, but we now are partnering up with an encoder manufacturer that's going to embed our widget inside of his encoder. So maybe we're off that market now.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Also, it presents an opportunity for their competitors to maybe be the second guy to the market by buying us. So, we think we're in a pretty good position these days. Yes, sir?
Yeah, I may have missed this in the video, but is this technology patentable, or?
Yes, we have quite a few patents on this, and several granted, several pending. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
So I have a couple questions. So take me back to the story. So I have not qualified to really understand the technology, and that's okay. What I'd like to know is, what was the genesis for thinking about this solution? What's your involvement? Like, how do you come across this problem and thought, hey, this is something we can solve and save money? You alluded to a $100 million opportunity, and I saw two numbers in there, and so I know I'm asking a few questions, where you're saying 20% of the resources, but then 80% savings. So I'm not sure of those numbers.
No, the up to 80% is the marketing line that we put in there so we can be competitive with the other marketing lines. But then we focused on the real number, which is the average is 20%.
Sure. I guess what would be helpful is, so you were solving a problem that I didn't know existed. So can you share with me like how you identified this problem and why you thought this was the best solution? And maybe it'd be helpful. I think it's great that you have a licensing deal, but where is the relative industry knowledge that says, hey, I know these people are willing to pay for this?
Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah, sure.
The idea came to me as I took my PhD 20 years ago.
Okay.
And I, for 17 years said, no, I'd say 19 years, said, that this stroke from heaven, this inspiration that came to me was actually a trick of the devil. Because all I did was spend money and time and bang my head against the wall. I thought it was a compression algorithm for 17 years. 3 years ago here in Austin with my team, we realized that it was a preprocessor solution that made it saleable. So that started us off in this direction. So it was really a solution in search of a problem for a long time. So I broke pretty much every entrepreneur rule I could.
Okay. No, and that's okay. I think there are businesses that have a solution and then they go find a problem for it. It doesn't, ideally you want to have a problem, but, so let me back up. Who are your key stakeholders? Who are the people that this is going to help?
Well, we just went through a list of them, right? The Netflix, your Google, your YouTube. These guys are paying $1 billion a year in video distribution costs.
Okay, who are their other stakeholders? I'm only being challenging because I want you to be able to think.
No worries. I'm not quite sure I understand the question.
Wouldn't the consumer who's watching the video be a stakeholder? Like if it's really not, you spent a whole lot of effort showing that you spent visual science to make sure this is valuable for them.
Right.
So if I'm Netflix, I care if the video quality is better. If it's the same and saves me money, if it's substantial money, great. Now you highlighted that there might be no changes in resources needed. Those are all great reasons to sell, but making sure you understand who those key stakeholders are and how it's economically valuable for the person who's ultimately going to pay you. Consumer's not going to pay for this, right? I'm not going to start spending more money just to get Netflix, right? Maybe they'll throw more advertising dollars down my throat.
Right.
But, so,
No, but what the advantage to Netflix is, of course, the lower costs, the lower bandwidth, the less buffering, the better user experience.
okay.
So, so the implied stakeholder being the person that pays them the money, is serviced by, implementing this technology into their
Right,
compression chain.
And the reason I bring it up is that I think it's important to always think about who are your consumers, not just who's the person going to write you the check to apply the technology.
Oh, of course.
Right.
Of
So
course, of
thinking
course.
about everybody in that equation and really mapping that out so you'll understand, that would have been helpful for me, I think, to step back and really understand the problems.
Well,
that
of
these
course,
folks-
this was a presentation for a very
Sure.
video-oriented technical
Yeah, I've
audience.
been in the NAB show.
you're
Yeah,
right,
it's
right.
there's a lot there. I get it for sure. But who were you pitching to specifically at NAB, and who were you trying
Well,
to?
we were looking to pitch the, people that are in the compression industry. There's maybe about 20 players. And, our intention was to solicit some interest from them, and that in fact did work. And build some kind of a value proposition and develop a sales cycle. It turned out that happened much faster than expected. And we actually are in bed with, a very well-positioned team that is looking to leverage this advantage, against their competitors. So essentially it was a B2B sale, and so far it appears that we were successful.
Good.
Thank you. We have no more time for questions. Sweet. Now next we have Dylan from Paradigm Automation. You have a Google slide, correct?
We do.
Boom. It is somewhere over here. Any other resources you need?
This is it.
Cool.
Alright.
I will, whenever you start.
Evening, everyone. How are y'all doing? Okay. Our idea is Paradigm Concierge. The company that we're starting is actually called Paradigm Automation. The idea is to do process automation and eventually include artificial intelligence with that. So our first two products are Paradigm Concierge and the Magic Car app. Okay, so what's the problem? Well, we start with the incredible pain of buying a new car in today's market. I mean, it's really bad. There's an oppositional sales model and source fragmentation, and it's a lot of research, and a lot of people just have a very difficult time dealing with that. The brands are starting to put the dealerships under tremendous pressure. The customers have always put the dealerships under tremendous amounts of pressure, and basically the result of that is that dealerships are struggling. So CSI payouts are tied closely to surveys. Dealers are locked into a blind auction, and the price often changes before the purchase. How bad is it? Well, there was a survey that was done that showed that over 4,000 people, out of over 4,000 people, less than 0.5% feel satisfied with the current process. So that's pretty bad. People think that the dealer makes 5 times the money that it actually does. 90% of people use price guides, only 15% buy through them. So basically there's a lot of problems that are going on with this market today. Basically what happens is you go to a TrueCar or you go somewhere like that, you get your information, and then basically what happens is that information gets sold to a variety of dealerships, which then harass you and force you back into the old sales funnel. People still buy cars like it's the 1980s. Okay, the market is 17.5 million new vehicle sales annually, right? So that's a lot, especially when you consider that $600 to $1,000 of advertising dollars go into moving every single one of those vehicles off the lot. So the target market that we're trying to address is, somewhere in the humble neighborhood of $18 billion, right? But also that market can grow tremendously. There's 53% of people say they'd buy a car more often if the experience were better, and 72% would go to the dealer more often, which translates directly into more money in the dealer's pocket if the experience were better. Okay, so what is it that we bring to the table? What's our solution? Well, we want to give the customer more control of the interaction. The big deal there basically being that people are currently dissatisfied with the process because they lack control. So by giving them this control, higher satisfaction, more referrals, more sales, less wasted time, and improved standing in dealer versus dealer competition. The people that pick this up and run with it are going to be the people that are going to be leaders in the automotive industry in the years to come. Okay, so Paradigm Concierge and Magic Car. We have two apps that share a backend, and there are two revenue streams, one for each app. The dealer-facing CEM app is going to basically allow us to charge the dealership to install the model there, train their salespeople, and provide them the equipment that they need, while the customer-facing research app will allow us to charge dealers in turn referral fees. Okay, so why does it work? What's the benefit to the end user? What's the benefit to the dealership? Well, point number one, it saves time. Point number two, provides a fair end-to-end deal. And point number three, customers get real-time price, interest rate, and trade information. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to re-engineer the process of buying a new car. Now instead of walking into a dealership and knowing sort of what kind of car you want and sort of what kind of car you already have, and sort of like what's a really good interest rate and what's a really bad interest rate, you can actually nail down every single one of these information points from your couch and then go into the dealership, provide them with that information. It's all information that the dealership has provided to a large extent, and so basically you just already have the deal. You don't have to worry about, you know, the, what's it called, 3-card Monty, right? Or the cup game, you know, where you get that piece of information and then, you know, well, sorry, but we agreed to this price, so now we can't give you quite as much money for your trade as we said we were going to, and yeah, you know, I mean, sorry about that, that's just the way the game is played, right? No more. We're just going to make everything up front. Okay, so dealers need it because our process is objective. That helps. That makes people trust them more, right? The level of trust is through the floor. Like if it was any lower, it would be a negative number, right? So anyone can access this information from anywhere. That's convenience, right? On-the-go shoppers are a big deal.
I have to cut you off.
Oh no.
Yes.
I did the too many slides thing. So.
That's fine. Thank you.
Can I introduce our team?
Oh, yes.
All right, we're actually a pretty big team. We got 6 people. We got Jennifer Odom. She's an automotive industry expert. Andrew Santana is our data scientist. He's going to help us roll out the AI eventually. He's going to make sure that we're collecting all the right data points as we start this process. Next, the founders. This is Bryson Warsonsky. I'm Dylan Daniel. And then we've got a couple of developers as well. So, yeah, we're always interested in talking to more people and, you know, perhaps more developers / investors / just anyone with any advice. This is day number 21 of this adventure. So, all right.
So, I guess at this point, what do you have built? Do you have anything built at this point, or is you still in?
We have a wireframe that's pretty good, and we have an alpha app that's pretty bad. So, not a ton of this stuff is built. We do have counsel, so we're going to be filing patents pretty quick. This is an extremely competitive industry, and we don't want to get overtaken on that front.
So I know you're done with your presentation. What is the difference between, let's say, a true car and what you guys offer? I understand the pain points.
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of say in 2 words, TrueCar builds leads, we close deals.
So my name is Bryson, I'm a co-founder. I'm the industry knowledge guy. I've been in the car industry since 2012. Various different roles. I've worked with TrueCar customers, Costco customers, all the car buying apps out there. TrueCar is one and done. They give you a piece of information, a sales price, and then you're out. With our app, we would have a customer walk through our app through the entire process. So we would be leading them, we would be guiding them. They'd be playing a little game on their phone throughout the entire deal, and then when they're done filling out really the major points of buying the vehicle, what Dylan touched on, they're actually done. There's no negotiation.
Yeah.
You can do the same thing from your home that you can do on the lot. So we're going to lock in the trade value or the price or the interest rate on your app, whether you choose to shop in person or whether you choose to take care of as much as possible from home. We're going to be there the entire way, as opposed to TrueCar just really giving you a price to sell your information.
In the back, I think you've...
A question on the concept from a dealer's point of view. If you have 5 dealers in Austin and all 5 dealers sign up with you, what do they get out of it?
We would offer exclusivity, obviously, to try and get into the market. Right now, the biggest competition is dealer versus dealer for the same manufacturer. Most people know exactly what they want by the time they go to a dealership. There was a McKinsey study. 10 years ago, people went to a dealership 5 different times before they bought a car. Now it's down to 1.8. They know what they want when they go, and they're looking for a good enough experience to buy. So if we give one dealership exclusivity of the same brand, let's say we give Covert Ford, the Ford market, we think we're giving them a massive advantage, and we think that's something that they could push since they're competing with the Maxwells and the other Ford dealerships. That's their main competition, not Dodge and Chevy.
How is, just as a follow-up then, how would, for instance, this be different from what Costco does?
Well, it's just more comprehensive. Costco gives you a price again and basically allows you to lock that in. But they don't do all of the steps that we're going to do. They don't make the entire process easier. Okay. Does that help?
Yeah, I understand it. I guess I'm a little skeptical. I mean, really, it's, as you say, it's a very competitive kind of business.
Absolutely is.
It really comes down to it's going to end up driving prices down further for dealers, which isn't going to make them happy in the long run.
That's right.
And that's what the problem is now.
A big problem with Costco and with TrueCar and Auto Traders and all of the other apps out there, whether they're dangling a trade price at you or a sales price, is that when, I know this firsthand, when TrueCar sends the information out, they'll send it to multiple different dealers. So the person who wins is sometimes, often, a bait and switch price to try and get the lowest possible price out to the customer. That creates a lot of problems for the dealers that we didn't have time to go into.
Right.
CSI customer service, a lot of the money that they get from the manufacturers, your unit bonus, is a lot of the money that goes to the dealerships. It's based upon those surveys that everyone gets after they buy a car. TrueCar is causing horrible surveys to come back because in order to get someone into your dealership to sell them, a lot of times you're using the practices that everyone thinks about for car dealerships. So you're starting off on a horrible foot for a lot of these internet shoppers and these internet customers. We want to take that away. We want to have a process that gives a fair deal and gives a customer satisfaction throughout the entire process, rather than just giving them the price, selling them their information, and leaving them alone.
Right.
Well, then, just one other question then. How are you going to keep a dealer from signing up as a customer and seeing what the dealer on your app is offering that price for and then doing something better?
Well, I mean, basically the goal of our concept is to take it away from just a price-based discussion. Because, I mean, honestly, like, the dealer makes money on the back end of the deal just like they do on the front end. So a lot of times, leading with price is just it's not the best way to buy a car. So what we want to do is we want to bring the rest of the picture into focus as well for the customer.
Oh, well, you said you're in day 21 of the adventure. Does that mean from conception of the idea or from incorporation? Was that?
So 22 days ago, I was part of a winning team at IBM's Cognitive Builder Fair. And basically the reason we won that competition was we discussed marketing automation. We had a different concept, but we knew that we were onto something, and we looked for a market to find it. And so this is day 21 since me and him had lunch and fleshed out sort of, yeah. Here in the front, I guess.
Yeah, how are you doing customer acquisition to get awareness out?
I guess maybe it would be easiest to just say that we know a few important people that we think can help open some doors for us. And the numbers that we're going to generate are going to be so good that it's not going to be a problem after that.
Cool. So I had some. Is that too loud?
Yeah, we went over time and stuff.
That's fine. I had some feedback on the pitch itself.
Sure.
Since
Was it clear?
you were talking about a lot of different pain points, and you have 2 different markets, and you're talking about a lot of benefits, I would tell a story about someone who Matt walks into a dealership. He wants to buy a car XYZ. He knows what he wants, and this is his 3rd visit, and he's heard this bad thing about a dealership, this bad thing, and then you'd say, to meet Matt, there's a Sam who is having really bad sales numbers for his dealership or something else. And this way you just, in 90 seconds, talk about hit most of the major pain points. so you don't have to explain much after that, because I don't know why,
Yeah.
but we remember stories. So that could be a good way to start off.
Makes a lot of sense.
Go, you had a question.
So, I apologize if I get your concept wrong, but why can't I just go to Google Maps and find a review about the dealership and go to Kelly Blue Book and put them together?
Yeah, you can, but the thing is that if you put your own deal together like that, you're going to walk in there and the salesperson is going to say, yeah, this is hilarious. Get out of my dealership. You can't buy this car for this price, this interest rate, and get this money for your trade. Get out of my dealership. You're not cool. So basically what we do is we secure the dealer's agreement before we show the information. So this is literally, you're actually building your actual deal. It's not a fantasy deal that you've cobbled together out of 4 or 5 different sources.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone here work for a car dealership? Used to. When I bought my car a year ago, I left. I felt like an idiot. With the bought car, but anyway. So we have, how much time do we have? My electronic watch doesn't work though. Okay, we have a bit of time. Are people here looking for jobs or internships in the tech area? Just raise your hand so we can see how many. Cool. So, okay, perfect. And are people here looking to hire for money and hire for equity to like co-founders? Is anyone here looking to hire for money?
I mean, it depends on how things go.
Yeah. Okay, purely money. Okay, 2 people for money. And how about for equity only at this point? That you have an idea?
Maybe.
Okay. Equity? Okay, perfect. We'll just go through these real quick. Anyone here have an idea that they want to pitch next time? That I can get? Cool, I'm going to force you to do this real quick. So could you talk about, then we're going to go through every single one of them, so you people get what you're here for. Could you talk about your idea in 60 seconds? I know it's a lot of pressure, but just what it is.
Hi, my name is Guy. I'm a mechanical engineer by profession, 21 years and going on new product development. I created a company called Crowdfunding Reports, or CFR. We do pre-vetting or technical screening of pre-launch campaigns for platforms, PR and marketing agencies, investors, and backers to restore trust and confidence to a really troubled industry. And we're the only ones who do technical vetting of hardware-based campaigns. So we're looking to get involved and collaborate with technical domain experts in various fields so we can shore up our own core competency and our accuracy for our vetting models.
Perfect, thank you guys. Who else?
Hi, my name is Madhav. I'm a software QA engineer here in Austin. So I started doing a VR virtual reality developer program with Audacity, and then once I started developing content, I realized that I would like to have a VR library where people can walk in and experience virtual reality. Since a lot of VR devices are very expensive to self-own them, and also people who make content can only serve people who own the devices. So I thought a VR library which is open for subscription or also for a one-time visit would be a good idea. So I don't know what to do after that. That's the idea.
Thank you. Okay, third idea.
Hi, my name is Harris Reynolds, and we're working on a tool for data visualization, and we're building this tool so that it can make visualizations and do reports on any data that comes from a third-party API. So we're focusing on things like marketing automation tools where the reporting may not be very good, or social media tools where you just kind of want to see growth and see how you're tracking that. And so there's some different things that do pieces of this. We're going to try to build a platform that we'll put it all together.
Thank you. Anyone else who has an idea that they want to? Oh yes. Then we're going to go into who's hiring for money.
Hi, my name is Leo. I recently moved to Austin with an idea for a tabletop ordering app in which you walk into a restaurant, well, you make a reservation in a restaurant, you're in there, and then you can order food through your application and send this to the kitchen, or drinks and to the bar, and then you can close out from your phone, so you can get up and leave like you would do in an Uber. You walk away from the car without having to actually wait for the wait staff to hand you the check and close out. And all that will be integrated with the POS system, so that would enable servers to actually focus on serving rather than having to go to the POS system and entering the order, closing the checks that are open still or whatnot. So that's pretty much it.
Cool. Thank you. Just a few pointers. Capital Factory has a VR center on the 5th floor. You go check it out. It's free to go in. You would collaborate. I saw one in Chili's like that.
Yeah.
Chili's Farmer.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like a tablet.
Exactly. I think there's a Kickstarter meetup in Austin that you could go check out. And also, I know someone who's building a hydroponics thing. He might be interested in talking to you about that. Sounds good. Cool.
Quick question for you.
Yes.
You know everybody. I'm looking for somebody who does augmented reality, and I want to invest, and I want to participate in the business. But I want to find that person that's doing that.
What do you mean does? Like have events or working?
No, developing augmented reality products and apps, and is thinking about that.
Okay, I'll connect you with someone.
Okay.
I don't know someone specifically doing that, but I will find you someone who does.
You can talk to me.
There you go.
I knew it was you.
Yeah. Perfect. Who's hiring for money? Because you have asked that question, right?
So we talked about this earlier, so I am working on a real estate application. I do need a full stack developer. We're getting already verbal commitments for our fundraising right now from our angels, so this will be a paid position with some equity as well, but this you'll be kind of the first hired employee. So,
cool.
That's it.
Anyone else?
Well, kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
We're going to be based on a outsourcing talent basis, so we're not going to hire in-house staff that is an expert in every single domain. So we're going to be outsourcing vetting of specific campaigns by the hour to domain experts.
Hi guys, I'm looking for full-time people. I need full stack. I need data scientists, QA people. What else? Java and Python.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. What are you doing? Yeah. What are you building?
Artificial intelligence stuff.
Okay. Anyone else want to talk about how they're hiring? Okay, so who's looking for a job right now? Does anyone want to talk about what they can do so they can let
Does it have to be in tech?
No, it doesn't have to be in tech. No. I'll get back to you. Sweet.
My name is David. I ran a software consultancy for 6 years in embedded process control automation stuff. At the end of it, I say consultancy because I would actually go into companies that didn't have software teams and build a team for them, run the team, be the architect, take them out when we were done with the project. By the end of it, we were putting Python Django servers behind Nginx on these embedded ARM core targets, tiny devices, and running them as distributed UIs for SCADA applications. So I'm looking for something else to do. I've been in industrial process control for 12 years, and I'm just looking to do something else cool.
Awesome. Sweet. There you go.
Hi, my name is Abdullah. I'm graduating in December. I'm studying physics, economics, and data science. I'm trying to get into quantitative finance and currently interning as an analytics intern in a startup. Yeah, I'm open to anything interesting.
Cool, thanks. All right, anyone else? Yes, I got 3 people, right? I can't even check my watch, it's not working properly.
Hey y'all, my name is Miles. I'm a web developer, PHP on the back end and front end, JavaScript, jQuery, stuff like that. I've been working for myself for about 16, 17 years now. I just started renting at Capital Factory like 2 weeks ago. As soon as the kids got out of school for the summer, I had to get out of the house. I'm always interested in hearing ideas. So yeah, if you've got something, I'd love to talk. All right.
Hi, I'm Steven. I'm the guy who keeps coughing in the back because of my allergies. I'm sorry. I'll apologize for that up front. It's not contagious, it's just allergies. I'm experienced in mobile development, native, Objective-C for iOS, a little bit of Android, some full stack development for mostly entertainment and e-commerce sites, a lot of WordPress, a lot of Shopify, and just looking around generally at all of that and some product management roles.
Hi, my name is Eric Tang. I come from a consulting background, so I spent 5 years in consulting, and just recently, a couple months ago, left that to enter the startup world. So I've been doing a bunch of hackathons over the past 2 months and learning a bit of code. My strengths are business, data analytics, and yeah, looking to get involved with a startup.
Cool. Was that helpful? Kind of? I don't know, we're still kind of, I'm improvising obviously. I've said that 5 times. It is now 8:20. I think it's time to wrap up. You guys know what you're looking for. You have a better idea of who you're looking for and who to talk to. So please, yes.
Do you have the slides online, like the ones that you had initially?
Yes. Well, what particular part did you want?
Well, I'm looking at some of the, you had a big long list of different things on the slides.
Well, on pitching? Oh yeah.
Some pitching
Yes.
and all of that, yeah.
I will, yes. It's actually on my website. I don't know if I have slides over here.
You saying it's on a TechMap?
It's all on the TechMap, but also on the Austin Fire Show.
Okay.
Because I do pitching workshops. It's here with a link. There's a Google Doc, and then there's an actual link to the 19-minute episode. I want to keep it short. If you're looking to understand the structure of a pitch. Cool. All right. Thank you very much for coming. Let's talk for about 40 more minutes. The beer's almost done, so go grab it, grab some food, and thank you all for coming today. Yes,
What's your background?
Economics, but
Where are you from? Okay. You don't speak Arabic. My wife studies. Oh, okay. I learned Arabic, so I was like,
I can read it.
Okay, I can't read it. We're just gonna at least let it lettering.
Exactly.
But anyway, do you have a card? I don't. We're just gonna put an order, and I'm trying to get everything done.
I have your email. What am I talking
You've
about?
got my email address. You can definitely get a hold of me there, and yeah, set it up.
Sounds good. Cool, man. Thank
Thanks,
you.
appreciate it.
Hey,
how are you?
Good. My name's Steven.
Hey, Steven, how are you?
Good. Nice to meet you.
Sorry.
Hey, one thing that your fire show. When you're talking about it, I went to go subscribe to it, and I searched for fire show, one word, came up with nothing. I was about to give up. I was like, let me split up the words and split them up, and then your site came up. And this is on Apple's podcast.
Okay.
So I was about to bail, and then I was like, yeah.
Oh, okay, fire show. Cool. Thank you very much. No, this is wonderful.
You know, like,
thank you. Yeah.
subtleties, right?
Yeah, thank you. No.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I'm going to remember that.
I don't know how you fix it.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Are you going to pitch sometime? Something?
Oh, yeah. I have I've got a project that I've been talking about a year and a half.
Oh, awesome.
It's a lot of like hard stuff. I'm not ready to pitch right now, but once I am, that's why I said
we meet again in a month.
Yeah, a month, maybe 2.
Now let's do it a month. Come on.
Yeah, it's close, man. Splash pads, right? So you have kids, right? Everybody's my parents, you know. Yeah, all right. So you go to like a park and there's like just like cement nice pad. There's like water jets coming out of the ground. Kids just go run out and play.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, splash pads. So they're huge, especially like yeah, so I take some like spaced out 5, 6 feet apart, and they turn off, and then you go push a button and they shut back on. So I can work them.
Oh, awesome! Yeah. It's a pitch, yeah. And if you do want to, you can email me. Okay.
Yes, I'm looking for I need a little bit of like
yeah.
I think it's a very that's one of the
You don't have to, because I think the pitch is a big part of you selling it, and the more feedback you get, the better you get. The more you wait, something to be perfect, so you do it. I'm really embarrassed about my first 2 episodes.
Okay.
Sounds good. Good seeing you, man. Take care. How's it going?
This is personally is venture. What's the purpose of this versus an old tech match?
What do you mean?
Like I mentioned a pitch that guy for 5 pitches.
Oh, like last time?
Yeah, like about a month ago.
Yeah. Was I talking?
You were running that one too.
Yes. So the only difference was that time we had enough planners. This time we didn't, so we improvised.
Yeah. I guess what's the difference between the events?
No.
Versus that one?
Oh, same thing.
Same purpose or?
This is still the co-founder team.
Okay.
Same purpose.
Okay. No, I'm just trying to understand. I thought this was called Co-Founders 1, right?
Co-founders. It's in Capital Factory. It's called Co-Founders 1. Okay. It's not that. It's still TechMap co-founders.
Okay. Yeah. I thought this was like people looking for co-founders. We're just going to talk about your new project. That's what I thought.
It's kind of like that. Has that ever happened? Mostly technical.
What's that?
Technical people come up and say, I'm working on this.
Somebody else feels like that's what I'd expect to see. Or, I guess, or someone with an idea and then like I said, I met those people usually at these events. So he does an event where people get on stage and broadcast.
Yeah, that's what I hope to do.
Let me help you. I'm blinding you on the mic. That's why the first one jumped and said, let me talk about what I want.
100%.
So, any more situations where people are broadcasting so that people actually see them, either those, in my situation, if you enjoy on a team, or those you can build a team. Like, I love the cross-broadcasting format, so we can all hear each other and link up real damn fast.
So I think tomorrow is this event. It's another pitch event.
Right. I just moved to Austin 2 weeks ago, so I haven't been to Experian. But they're spending time training me and giving me free meals.
How to raise an Austin is tomorrow.
Yes.
Just what I have there.
Maybe it's next week. They have to wait. Just check it.
Let me go.
I don't know, I'll have to look at the
I'm not just, I'm all around.
I don't know, I don't have that calendar right here.
No, yeah. Sounds good. Yeah, glad this is up.
Yeah, this is good. I guess I'm just trying to figure out where do I find people who need someone come in as an initiating member of the team.
Right, they'll have everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's these kind of events again and again. How long have you been in Austin?
13 years.
Okay. Keep it doing it.
I have my own business forever, so I didn't come to these things because I was supporting my show and I had my clients. It's all word of mouth anyways. But trying to pivot out of it, I got to build a new network. And that's what I'm trying to do.
Good luck, man.
Thank you.
It's great seeing you.
I'm going to say hey to him. Yeah, sure. I was going to talk to him too.
Oh, you can go ahead.
Well, yeah, good to meet you. Good to meet you, man. Yeah. Hey, great presentation, man. You did a great job. Yeah, it was only my second time here, but you did as good of a job as Joe.
So, yeah. It was interesting. I didn't know that you ran a podcast. That's awesome. That's cool, man. I've been listening to podcasts for years.
It's awesome.
Started with Joe Rogan. Now it's in Ferris show. I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah, I love it. I was actually watching the talk before I got there.
Yeah, right on. Do you do? I've never heard your show before. Do you do a video?
No, sometimes I do it on my Facebook Live, but I don't do it for you. I need to.
Yeah,
I need to do more videos.
So component, you could link it up to YouTube, you know?
I know.
I don't actually, people can always still go to just the audio version. Or something you can put, you know, and it's cheap now. I mean, you can get, for under $1,000, you can get cameras, a studio, you can get everything set up, so something to think about.
You're right.
That's cool. So you're episode 20 or so?
Episode 22?
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
That'd be great, man. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's good. Cool. Well, hey, good to meet you, man.
Great to meet you too, man.
I'll be there in the future.
Sounds good.
Yeah, take care.
No, I don't have that. That's what it is. There's a particular question. I have what it did is, it's we're driving along now, so, you know, literally you I would have
Sounds good. It was at a point where I did a bunch of so, hey brother, what's going on? Good man. I'm really interested in something that's 100%. I was wondering if I could get together with you, if you have a time slot available for me to present to you, and you can give me some feedback. Yes. Oh, I have it. Oh, yeah, sweet. It's with me right now. Let's do it. Yeah? Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, I just need to come up with a time. How far in advance you need to know? Because my schedule with waiter, as a waiter, I'm a server right now, so I'm in our industry. They gave me the schedule pretty much. You know what's just honestly, you can just email me trade numbers and go. Okay, good. I just want to know what's a good day for you. I'm not flexible this weekend, but next weekend we can have that. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I started before I moved to film, and it gave me the opportunity to see that, like, well, it's like an introvert, you can act in like any situation, really. It can be a little like draining, but one other good thing I heard recently was like not to focus on the crowd, but to really just try and connect with like 3 people.
Yeah, I've heard that.
See who's giving you feedback, see who's nodding, smiling, and then that's it. And I see students do that all the time.
Yeah.
I see them come back to like the same 2 or 3 faces.
I do that too.
But it's something I'm working on. I mean, that's why I bought a more last year.
Oh, nice, yeah?
Yeah, just because I was like, I gotta get out. I enjoy it.
It's fun.
It's a rush, I guess. It's a good natural high.
It's also, when you're doing it, most people are afraid of it, just like everyone else, but only a few people take their time to get better at it.
Yeah.
So that feels like fun to me too.
It's like everything is a skill. People think you're like born with it. People go through born with it.
No.
It's like everything is Well, what's happening next on the podcast?
I just got one of those guys. I asked him to be my producer, so I'm just gonna get him to be my whip because I lost focus. I want to get back into it. Good stuff.
I should have let you coach my pitch.
That's fine. You did it. Yeah.
I was trying to do it in 3 minutes before and it was working, and then I was like, oh, I've got all the time in the world.
That's okay.
I'll just slow it down too much.
That's okay.
The story though, that's great.
Yeah, story would be great for you guys. It would be great for you. And let me know if you have my email, right? So anytime you want to chat about this, we'd love to.
Awesome, man. Very cool. Thanks again for having us.
Video that tells the story.
What would you quote us for something?
I don't know if you've seen like the whiteboard animated explainer videos. We've done those. We've done like full color. A lot of people like to do that route. Up to maybe like 1,500, up to like 6, 7, 8, or like the high end. Custom soundtrack.
Do you have a card?
Yeah.
I'll just, like this is gonna matter a little bit. Video especially getting into like some of the C-suite,
Yeah. A couple of months ago, someone pitched me something like business.
Really?
It's hard for me to explain what the different nuance are.
But was it automotive?
Yeah. It was improving the customer experience of the dealership.
Jesus Christ.
I know, yeah.
Do you remember the name of the company?
No, Moby might know. But my best friend was just car shopping this weekend. And kind of disappointed that they weren't really listening to what she wanted. And they were just being like, well, you could get a new 2017. It's like, yeah, I'm trying to stay on the budget, and I thought we were very... So I
had so many people come up, even just tonight and say, oh yeah, I've had this experience, I've had that experience, it wasn't good.
I think it honestly makes people say, well, screw it, I'm just going to go with something on Craigslist. I'll take my chances, and if there's a couple $1,000s in repairs that I have to do, that's still better than dealing with the dealership experience.
Yep.
And that's just for me personally, because I like Japanese cars. It's pretty reliable. You get a little Camry or something, you're probably going to be okay. There's automotive PIs will come out and do an inspection, like on the spot. So that's super. That is the best one Japanese car.
Miles. Like pitch.
Awesome. Well, glad you enjoyed it.
21 days in. Yeah, exactly. Right.
It's been a world. I swear to God, in like 21 days, it's probably over 400 reps.
Yeah. Where'd you come from before this? Okay, so you know where it falls apart with buying the got it, deal set, it's financing set. I always go through a second party to do financing.